What's the catch? Joseph Heller's Catch-22. Full book summary, and this is going to be one heck of a nightmare because number one, this thing doesn't follow chronology. Number two, this thing is illogical as hell. Number three, this thing is intriguing. That's the best way I can describe this book without breaking my brain with words I really want to spit out. Unfortunately, I've dedicated myself to a family-friendly channel. Until I'm 18, of course. But of course, let's get started with Joseph Heller's Catch-22. Never has a book been laughed and whipped over so many times. Such a classic, Guardian. Such a classic. Alright, so wait. Last time we left off, we were at Catch-22, and I was doing terrible still animations. Alright, first off, we are introduced to this guy named Yosari, who is, like, in a hospital bed. Yeah, very normal start to a book. And the first lines of the book start off like this. In fact, I'll read them for you. And it literally goes ahead and says, "It was love at first sight. The first time Yosarian saw the chaplain, he fell madly in love with him. Yosarian was in the hospital with a pain in his liver that fell just short of being jaundice." This guy's faking jaundice. Well, he doesn't have jaundice yet, because if he fakes having real jaundice, then they will give him a drug that, if he didn't have jaundice, would kill him. But if they find out he doesn't really have jaundice, they'll just discharge him back to the army. So he's faking it. He's faking having a pain in the liver that's short of being jaundice. But not exactly good either. So they're keeping him under check. And we have several other things I could mention, but unfortunately for us, that's not what's going to happen today. So he decided to go ahead and say that he's fine, and he's just chilling them. All the food was good anyway. The food was great. Like, he got chocolate stuff. He got actual food compared to all that stuff that he was given in the army during his time in the Air Force. And so he decided that, hey, why not just do something good? Why not do something better? And he decided to just stay here for the rest of the war, because it was such a great place to stay in. I mean, you gotta admit that, right? It is the ending months of the war. Next thing that happens, though, is like he decided to just do something. He flirted with the nurses. Then the nurses were all like, all right, I'm not doing this today. And he talked towards the other people who were in his ward, and some of the people were able to at least do something, I suppose. Later on, of course, the book ends up with having a Texan, howdy y'all, come in, and he's really sick. While everyone else in the ward is like faking sick, he's really sick, and he somehow infects one of them. So that person's stuck in there for a while. And within the next 10 days, after the Texan arrives, everyone's like, I'm not sick anymore, I'm leaving this place. Alright, I'm signing myself out, I'm healthy, check me. And within 10 days, everyone's gone, except this guy who got sick, even though he was feigning sick. He was faking sick, and he got sick by this guy. Howdy, y'all. Alright, I really hate that Texan, but I really like that accent, so no offense to my old Texan teacher. Seriously though, next up we're introduced towards the army, and well, Yosarian is back to the army. Well, technically the Air Force Bombardier Squad, and they're all like, all right, where the heck were you? I was in the hospital. All right, good excuse, but now you're back to bombardiering duty. You have to do like 50 missions, but I only did 45, sir. And unfortunately for you, we're raising them again. No comment. Seriously though, yeah, that really works out. Doesn't really work out in Yosarian's favor. And then of course he decides to go into trauma stuff and starts remembering stuff. And then we go back in time, we experience some shenanigans, go back forward in time, and Yosarian's all like, alright, this isn't supposed to happen. I'm done with all this. I don't want to fly any more missions anymore too. What's the whole point of these missions? The Allies are winning anyway. D-Day has happened. We literally technically won the war. And so now, we're going to continue charging ahead until something amazing happens, I suppose. This chronology, though, is really breaking my brain, so I'm going to try to make this go forward as smooth as possible. Then we get the words Catch-22, where he says, I'm insane! Oh, you're not insane. How come? And his Colin's like, you're not insane. How come? Well, here's the thing. You still flying missions, but I'm insane. Ask anyone that I'm insane, and they'll tell you I'm insane. Hey, you, Body Larry, you think I'm insane? Yeah, he's the most insanest person I know, well, Colonel. Alright, here's the thing. You're still flying missions. How come? Catch-22. Catch-22? Yeah, the Catch-22 literally says this. If you don't want to fly any more missions, as long as you're insane, we will let you go home. But as soon as you ask to go home, that means you're sane. So you have to fly more missions. And that's some catch, that Catch-22 It sure is. And of course, they continue their day out like that, and he's stuck in this endless loop of playing more missions and more missions and more missions and more missions. Crazy shenanigans happen that are definitely not important for the rest of the plot of the book, and we get to meet Yusarian with his other buddy pals who decide to go hang around several girls who have no threads of polyester on them, if you know what I mean. And then, of course, Joseph Heller decides to make all this awkward, and he makes one of the boys who actually love one of the women die in a car crash, die in like the plane crash, or at least during combat. And so when Yusarian tells the girl about the news, she decides to become a lunatic and try to kill him because he's the one who broke the news to her. And for some reason, her little sister starts to join in, and so he runs away. And pretty much for the rest of the book, after that, he has to avoid being narrowly being hit with a knife by this woman. Even this, throwing her into the middle of enemy territory did nothing. I mean, I'm surprised that did nothing. But whatever Joseph Heller was planning, it worked. And eventually, CATCH-22 was revealed to be a sham. CATCH-22 itself, the rule of CATCH-22 literally states that the superiors don't have to show their inferiors that CATCH-22 was actually a thing. And that was just all a sham. That was just created to make sure that the bigger bosses could just boss around their little guys. It was just a way to control the masses, and to be honest, everyone kind of fell for it. And eventually, Yusarian, after avoiding death several times and fighting a few more missions, decided that he was not doing this. He was not doing this anymore, and he was offered to CATCH-22. He can go home or get court-martialed because he went to Rome for the pass. And of course, he chose home. And then he got stabbed by the girl before the girl was scared away. And the official report said she was a Nazi. Next thing that happened, though, was that Yusarian decided that this life and death experience made him more open, and so he decided, alright, you know what, screw this, I'm not doing this anymore, I'm not doing this CATCH-22, I'm running away from here! Court-martial me if they would! I don't have a literal caring in the world about this. I'll go find a little girl, the little sister of the wars, and then I'll run away to Sweden. How does that sound? And then he jumps, narrowly avoiding being stabbed by the lunatic woman before running away. And that's CATCH-22, people. One thing I want to mention is CATCH-22 has got its way into, well, English. CATCH-22 is now a phrase that literally means that, well, it's a contradictory sentence. Like, you want to go into your car, but you need the keys, and the keys are in the car. And to get the keys, you need to open the car. But to open the keys, you need, open the car, you need the keys, and the keys are in the car. You get what I'm saying? No? Slow it down to 0.5 times speed, then understand me. Or one of my favorite ones is the job dilemma that every college student will face. You want to get a job, you need experience. But to get experience, you need a job. But to get a job, you need experience. And to get experience, you need a job, and so on and so on. Yeah, it's not worth it, to be honest, people. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I hope to see you guys soon. Until next time, Shihan out. Peace. Bye-bye. Oh, and yes, my real name's Shihan.